trading bell, my heart starts to pound. Daily stock pick trading podcast in my ears, guiding me through my hopes and fears.
Good morning. Hit the thumbs up button. Live chat. And there is my confirmation that we're live. A little bit of power. Morning first. Rather than worrying about first, just hit the thumbs up button, that thing. I had blood taken, I'm not in the mood. Okay. We're gonna have probably fewer people in here. First thumbs up. Boom, boom, boom. Boom, shakalaka, laka, laka. Okay. I'm gonna get over here. I'm gonna do my scans, but I had to go to the doctor to get some blood taken for a test. So I am up early. Larry's up early. So I'm and I got enough that, I mean, there's nothing other than tariffs that we're going to talk about. Yeah, crypto bloodbath. I mean, I tend to think we're going to see 10% pullback. You know, just to get it out of the way. Here's where we are. I mean, let's go to the S&P 500, and we're going to go to a daily. And we're going to pull this back. You know what? Let's go to a weekly. Okay? This is a weekly of the S&P 500. And remember, it's not like before 2015, we were high. Hold on one second. Oh. Why are you there? You should be resting down and laying down. We've got a sick patient in the house. So, well, Larry, she did yell, Larry. I barely could hear it.
Larry.
You hear it now. I do not have ironic that you say immortality blood power and Jake says crypto bloodbath. But here's the thing, and I'll do this live for the audience here, but if you're listening afterwards, it's a good thing. Let's just go. I mean, you know, we closed at, let's see, 553. Let's just say it's there. Let's go 10% down. Where do we get? You get to, let's see, 492. Let's put a line across there. Let's see, 492. See if there's any. Boy, look. I mean, that's outside of August 5th, which the high was 491. I've been pretty much saying that I think that's it. So I'm going to actually keep this in. That is probably going to be where we're heading now. IBIT and crypto. Because remember, I don't necessarily buy it. IBIT's kind of still new. So, you know, a 10% down move from here. You closed at 57.71, right about there. Let's go 10%. You know, crypto, I'd say it's 20% down. And so where do you get to? You get right to a gap, which may be filled, which is 44. Load up. If you get down to that, I mean, again, look at the weekly on this one. It's just, we're extended. And so I do think, you know, look at on the 4 hour. If we just go to the daily, where does 10% take you down? Doesn't fill this gap. You know, and then we go to VOO and we can go, you know, we got this one and we can go look at the 4 hour. The 4 hour pulls you way back down. I mean, look at that line. Okay. Look at that line right there. couple of buy-ins there. You wanted a time to buy it back in. I mean, let's go back and we'll pull it back here. Where's a volume shelf? There's going to be volume shelves all the way down. So, well, Jake, remember, on crypto, it's going to be way more, on IBIT, I mean, you'll have to figure that out. Crypto is going to be more volatile. So if the market goes down %, expect crypto to be down at least 15%, if not more. I mean, it's just going to be more volatile. That's the nature of the beast. But if you look at VOO here and we go 10%, I mean, pretty good resistance right there in May 2024. Morning, Chris. So again, you use these charts to try and figure out, okay, remember, 10% would be a correction. 20% would be an all-out recession. And I wouldn't put it past, the morning, Chris, if I didn't say it. Nathaniel, go and figure that one out. 20% on IBIT. I got to get water. Yeah, I mean, good point. I didn't look at the VIX this morning, but wants to live at 20. Let's see. Okay. Good point. I'm going to put my notes. This guy is falling. Yeah. I mean, that's the main thing is that let's say UVIXY. I think that's the ProShares Ultra VIX. This is up 10%. So if you had bought it, when I started saying, hey, probably around January 27th. I mean, I don't know when my mom is, call your mom kind of thing started, but around the 20th, 27th, could have gotten this at like 18, 19. It's at 21 right now. I expect it to continue to go up. So this is one of the leveraged ETFs you can trade. There's a lot of leveraged ETFs that you could make money on while the market is going down. And I unfortunately am in CONL in a big way, mid 5 figures. Let's see. CONL is down 12%. I am going to be down. Yeah, a lot. Yeah, in fact, let's see, did I put it up here? No. Let's go to Twitter. I had some good ones this weekend, by the way, that don't get noticed by too many people. It's officially Waste Management open time. Yeah. This is real. This is what happens. Golf, white people. Effing white people, man. It's all white people. Welcome back to Diamond Hands. I put this in. Bitcoin is under 100K. So put that in yesterday. I also put in Bitcoin is under 100K. And now Ryan Cohen moves 36.8 million GameStop shares to his personal name, sparking speculation on next steps. Let's see GameStop. Because it's GameStop's only down 4%. To me, it's big news. Let's go to a 5-minute. I mean, it opened down from where it was on Friday, which is amazing to me with that kind of news. But maybe retail's not all it's cracked up to be. Nvidia is down 4%. Shopify is down 4%. Let's see. MPLX is up 2%. iBit is down 6%. Dell is down 3%. Cleveland Cliffs is down 2%. Bank of America down 2.5%. I mean, there's a lot of problems with this. So let's go to a scan. I can't imagine we get too much. Tesla, which is down 3%. And Tesla's probably going to be down more with let's see, what's being talked about. Kodak is being talked about on Stock Twits. Huh. Tesla's being talked about on Stock Twits. Let's look at some of the top stocks. We'll look at that. CLS and VRNA. So CLS is down 5% at 117. Start your position. I mean, again, this one on Friday closed at 123. It got all the way to 133 in the morning. So it's a great one. Bitcoin, BET, that one's weird. I'm not going to include that one. Income ETFs, we've got a bunch. Income ETFs, QYLD, NUSI, energy names, Rig and Shell. Rig and Shell. Rig is down to $3.87. Oh, do I have a... Let me see. Energy names. Yep, we're going to have to take that one out. Remove Arch. Yep. Okay. Leveraged ETFs. We got a lot. TSLT. By the way, just so everyone's aware, I know I've been saying that this is happening, and that we should see a pullback long term. I have not made significant moves in my own personal portfolio at all. So, just in case anybody's wondering. Yeah, that's what's going to take Tesla down is, and they don't sell much, but it's going to be a news headline that drives, at some point, valuation matters. And when you get headlines like that, I mean, that's part of the problem with Elon being Elon in the political sense, is that you're an easy target. And not just that. I mean, imagine if the EU or China, I mean, China could go after Tesla in a big way. China could cripple Tesla. Now, again, if it's a car company, if it's a robotics or an AI company or something of that sort, you don't really care. But for right now, their main growth is really coming from China. So that's a hard pill to swallow. But the good news is that you get to enter a lot of the top 10 stocks at a discount now. So I did just go over, if you go to Linktree and you go to the Daily Stock Pick newsletter, I went over a review of the top 10 stocks 2025. Many of which are up over 10%. Many of which may now be under that 10%. So, why do I have a message from somebody? Hold on. Okay, it's Tony. Ooh, I've got a mail piece coming. AAA wants me to become a member. We're going to delete all of those. Wolf sent me an email. Okay. Here are the articles we're going to go over for today, and we're going to go over Palantir. Earnings are tonight. You know, let me see. I mean, let's see if iBit has anything. Yeah, I think that's going to be a good one. Okay, we'll open this one. And there we go. And then we'll go home. We've got the Magnificent 7. We've got a great newsletter. If you're into any of these semiconductors, the difference between ASML, Applied Materials, KLA, and Lam Research, this was just a massively huge. I learned a lot, so I figured I'd share it. Again, because I'm not in competition with anybody. I don't do a newsletter like anybody else. If you want to learn about technicals, I mean, the 821, that's a pretty good constant. I mean, go and read about it. It's a good tool to say, hey, am I buying a falling knife or am I buying a stock that could go up? Zuckerberg did an interview where he sees NVIDIA, and I'm going to go over a pretty good detailed list of NVIDIA. Let's see if Seeking Alpha has anything about NVIDIA from the weekend. Let's see. Yeah, we'll use this one. Because I did listen to a few podcasts this weekend. OpenAI reconsiders closed source versus open sourced. Again, they started as an open sourced one, so I think DeepSeek continues to be in this market and continues to weigh on some of those names. So maybe you want to move to software names. Earnings this week, we'll go over that, and we'll go over Palantir as the main one today. Catalyst Watch, this is my favorite. I mean, just by day, they tell you what to look at. It's such a good newsletter. This is a nice thing that I guess Seeking Alpha is doing, where they highlight the sector that did the best this week. Financial stocks rose the week with the biggest gainers, featuring many banks. Although crypto-linked stocks exhibited weakness. So we'll go over that. I've got some notes. What's one thing, if you got tariffs? I mean, look at it. You want to buy gold? Go and buy gold. They're up. Gold and silver, precious metals. And we'll go over, obviously, the back and forth, and it changes by hour. But tariffs, I mean, I got some notes on this one. We will go over VOO on the 10% pullback. Well, I guess, and we're going to start out. Let me go to the Facebook group. Go to news feed, and then we're going to go to the group. Oh, yeah. I think, again, I think you add to this one. We're going to go over, let's see. Corwell, I think you're in here. Are you live with us? Maybe not. Yeah, you are. Hopefully I explained that Seeking Alpha well enough for you. Learning to use Seeking Alpha, I would go to just Google Seeking Alpha Video Hub. And there should be, yeah, right here. So if you want to watch people use, just so you know, use Seeking Alpha, look at this top 10 stocks for 2025. Go and watch the video of it. You can see any of the latest one, top ETF. Go and watch Steve Kress use the platform. I think that's the best one that you could do. Like these top stocks of 2025 session replays. Quant Research, top ETF strategies for 2025. I like that one. But go and watch him use the tool to go through everything. These are a little older, I guess. The Investing Summit, probably irrelevant at this point, but it's a great, that video hub is amazing. Yeah. I mean, remember, even, if you want to know the date, the way I've always kind of looked, I mean, let's just look at Apple. Okay, Apple, if you go to FinViz, and I know it's a free tool. Remember, for years I used the free tools. I mean, if you want to look at the most recent, look at KeyBank. They reiterated underweight and a $200 price target for Apple. I mean, that's the most recent. You go back earlier into January, and you're seeing some people reiterate 280, 253, 230. One person, Jeffries, downgraded them to 200 from 200. I mean, that's awfully particular. Moffett-Nathanson wants it, they said it goes down to 188. And then in January, this guy says, hey, we're pushing it up. We reiterate from 240 to 260. December, 300 to 325. So it's just, you got to find where your comfort level is with that stuff. And we're going to go to core investments and then VO. I'm glad I answered it for you, though. It can be confusing. It can be absolutely confusing. But Seeking Alpha has all that stuff in there. You can go and let's look at the top stocks. I mean, we'll just go and look at KINS because it's been up there forever. This is one that I believe has, one analyst, and they say it's worth $18 and it's trading at 17. And you go and look at the analyst rating history. And let's see. I don't even see the analyst. I guess the analyst keeps updating it. Oh, that's the analyst rating history. Let's see. Price target versus actual price. I don't see. That was when Wall Street Analyst started covering it. I don't even see the dollar where it was put in there. I guess this dude keeps raising his stuff. Revisions. One up, none down. I mean, it's one person that covers it. Then you go to Seeking Alpha Analyst, and there are two. And have they covered it recently? No. I mean, it's just stuck. Let's see. Oh, this person. Buy at, let's see, Red Kraken Research. Strong buy January 14th. He's up 18%. Grassroots Trading up 13% since November 25th. PSIX is down. This is the one that we've been watching to go from 20 to 42. It's at 39 right now. And you look at Wall Street and there's one analyst, one. And you can see the price target has been chased up. Price target right now is at 55. It's that one freaking analyst. So, yeah. Then you go to Seeking Alpha, and there are 8 analysts that cover it. So, same dude, Kraken, Red Kraken. He's up 5% since he did it, but it's a great tool. I mean, literally, you can go down just a rabbit hole. Okay, I'm going to turn on soothing music for you as I go and grab some water. I'll be right back. And remember, hit the thumbs up button. I better see more than 16 thumbs up when I come back.
And fears. Tune in daily, don't miss a single show. Sign up for the newsletter, let us help you grow. Taking risks, making moves, seeking success. Together we'll conquer, no room for any less. Listen now. Every morning I wake up to the sound of the trading bell. My heart starts to pound. Daily stock pick trading podcast in my ears, guiding me through my hopes and fears. Tune in daily, don't miss a single show. Sign up for the newsletter, let us help you grow. Taking risks, making moves, seeking success. Together we'll conquer, no room for any less. Every morning I wake up to the sound of the trading bell. My heart starts to pound. Daily stock pick trading podcast in my ears, guiding me through my hopes and fears. Tune in daily, don't miss a single show. Sign up for the newsletter, let us help you grow. Taking risks, making moves, seeking success. Together we'll conquer, no room for any less. Listen now. Every morning I wake up to the sound of the trading bell. My heart starts to pound. Daily stock pick trading podcast in my ears, guiding me through my hopes and fears. Tune in daily, don't miss a single show. Sign up for the newsletter, let us help you grow. Taking risks, making moves, seeking success. Together we'll conquer, no room for any less. Every morning I wake up to the sound of the trading bell. My heart starts to pound. Daily stock pick trading podcast in my ears, guiding me through my hopes and fears. Tune in daily, don't miss a single show. Sign up for the newsletter, let us help you grow. Taking risks, making moves, seeking success. Together we'll conquer, no room for any less. Listen now. Every morning I wake up to the sound of the trading bell. My heart starts to pound. Daily stock pick trading podcast in my ears, guiding me through my hopes and fears. Tune in daily, don't miss a single show. Sign up for the newsletter, let us help you grow. Taking risks, making moves, seeking success. Together we'll conquer, no room for any less. Every morning I wake up to the sound of the trading bell. My heart starts to pound. Daily stock.
Okay. I'm back. Do 21 out of 26. Sweet. Yeah, chasing the top stock. I mean, that's not a bad strategy in my mind when you look at the top stocks. I mean, go and chase them. When you get those in there, I mean, Carnival. I mean, look at when this one went to strong buy. And I know it's an alpha pick, but you had it as a hold at 25. It's trading at 27 right now. I mean, you know, you go back to when it actually went to a strong buy at 15. That was May. So it's not like, you know, chasing the top stocks is a bad thing. You could even sort this. You could go to top stocks And then you can say edit filters. And let's see, advanced filters. We can put in market cap. And I can say, okay, let me give market cap. Where is the market cap? Let's say I don't want the small caps. I want something over 200 billion. There's nothing in there. You know, we got to go down to 100 billion. Nope. Let's go to 25 million. We can put in 100 million. Let's say 100 million. There you go. And you whittle that down a little bit. You could even sort this by, you know, Procis, $89 billion. I mean, these are all foreign. You got JD, Delta Airlines, $43 billion. Carnival Cruise Line, $35 billion. Synchrony Financial, $26 billion. Some of these are foreign. Gap, which is $9 billion. I mean, this is a strong buy in the quant. Wall Street says it's worth $28 at 20% upside. So, Coral, very simple answer, and I'll let the group answer it. You can't time the market. And I don't short anything because shorting has shown to be, I mean, tell me, when you look at a weekly chart on this, do you think you could time a short? You know, during this time when you're under the 9, in my mind, I mean, do I buy SQQQ every now and then? Yeah. But, you know, I don't stay in it for very long. Morning Hunter. It's tempting, but you know, look at my triple leveraged ETFs. You know, CONL and MSTX. Timing those things is impossible. So you can try and short. I'm just not very good at it. And it's never, I did try and short during COVID and it wound up biting me in the ass. And I was like, why? Doesn't make sense to me, but okay. Let me hit the record button. And that's what's called hedging. And hedging is a good strategy. But, you know, I'm not a hedge fund. Hedging, you know, the hedge funds make money on both directions, and they take bigger risks. And beating the S&P while taking bigger risks is a very hard proposition, and you don't typically see hedge funds beating the S&P year over year over year over year. So it's tempting, but that temptation is what's called FOMO. You can have FOMO on the way up, and you can have FOMO on the way down as well. God, I wish I would have sold up there and just shorted the market. God, I wish I would have bought down there, you know, and bought long and held for a long time. So, is it 23 to 28? That's because I think people are popping in and popping out. I think I have a whole new class of viewers that are popping in. Okay, I am going to start now because I typically don't start this early, but I'm going to start now. Good morning. It is Monday, February 3rd. The bloodbath is here. If you're waking up and I am the first thing that you're listening to, go and take a look at your account because it's time to call your mom. We'll go over everything. The VIX, we'll go over the tariffs, we'll go over. I've got a couple of new things. A month of love because this is February. It's Valentine's Day. I'm going to do one stock a day to put together your portfolio. And we're going to look at that. Kudos, by the way. I got 3,000 subscribers on YouTube. I have no idea why the tens of thousands of people that listen to me on a daily basis on Spotfiy don't subscribe to YouTube. You should be subscribed to YouTube. So go over there. I got quotes on tariffs to go over. Canada's retaliating. Mexico's retaliating. China is retaliating. Catalyst watch for the week. We've got huge earnings from Palantir. DeepSeek is still in the lexicon, and we've got NVIDIA. So I listen to a bunch of podcasts about DeepSeek, and I want to talk more about NVIDIA. Do I think it's a good one? A great newsletter today. If you're into any of the semiconductor manufacturers like ASML, all of those types of things. So we'll go over that. Magnificent Seven, maybe time to invest outside of the U.S. and Bitcoin, and then earnings, of course, and we'll go over a social request from John. But as we enter February, Seasons of Love, let's spout out why everybody, the number one complaint is the advertisements. And my guess is that people complain about Seeking Alpha, about Alpha Picks, about Trendspider. Well, I want to just post a message for you and show you in the Facebook group. Blaine says, I bought Seeking Alpha Premium a few weeks ago, bought 95 shares of CLS a few days ago. And because of Seeking Alpha, I made up $4K. Boom. Seeking Alpha is paid for the year. And those messages I get from people who subscribe to Seeking Alpha, from people who subscribe to Alpha Picks, okay? The bundle right here, you can make that back very, very easily by just doing a little research. Again, whether it's premium, whether it's buying an Alpha Pick, that money is not that hard to get back. And then Trendspider, you can, these are the great things about these tools. And if you don't write them all, if you don't make the money back, it's a write-off. It's a professional tool. So you get to write it off on your tax. Again, that's not tax advice, but just to understand, you don't need to get these paid tools. You could do things with your account. These just level you up. And for days like today, they might have gotten you out. Again, we can look at the 4-hour algorithm in VOO. It still has you in. It had you in at 544. Where are you trading right now? 545. If you wanted to sell today, you would be up in the 4-hour algorithm. Simple as that. It's very, very simple. So, Blaine, kudos to you. This is what people don't realize, is that you can make these back very, very easily. Oh, by the way, just so you know, Bitcoin is back under 100,000. Welcome back, Diamond Hams. How is the moon? And not only what a time to be alive. Ryan Cohen moves 36.8 million shares of GameStop, sparking interest. So, interesting. Again, what a time to be alive. We're going to do a month of love right now, okay? A month of love where every day I will give you one stock. Okay, 10 stocks total. From now until Valentine's Day, I got 10 shows. I am going to give you one stock that I have in my own personal portfolio that I would continue to add to. So it's one stock that I'm going to do that. I've got 10 stocks in here. You can guess a few of them, but it's going to be ETFs included. And the one today, okay, the first one's going to be VOO. Why VOO? It gets you exposure to the S&P 500, okay? The S&P 500, it's the best 500 companies. Over the history of the S&P 500, it has been the most reliable. Even Warren Buffett says it. If you don't want to pick stocks, just do the S&P 500 and have at it. You will retire a millionaire historically if you just invested with on a time frame. With the VOO. If you start at 20, it's better. If you start at 30, it's fine. If you start at 40, you're still perfectly fine. But again, remember, I have a video that I'm going to post to the paid newsletters as well, where Charlie, what's his name? Charlie Buffett's like right-hand man, Charlie. I always call him Charlie, so I forget his last name. But it basically talks about earning your first $100,000. If you don't have $100,000 in your account, earning the first $100,000 most likely won't come from the market. It's going to come from actual work. So when I wrote, a month ago, I wrote the if I had to start over, what would I do? The number one thing that I would do is find a job. Charlie Munger, thank you, Chris. But the number one thing I would do is find a job, because the first $100,000 that you're going to have in your account more than likely is not going to be from the market completely. It's going to be from adding capital into your accounts and making sure that you're compounding. Once you have $100,000, it starts to multiply pretty damn quickly. Okay, last year the S&P was up to 26%. Okay, if you had $100,000 in your account, gets you $26,000 just in VOO. Okay, just think about that. This ETF needs to be in everybody's portfolio. Okay, and we're going to start looking at VOO because the 4-hour algorithm makes you 37% over the last 24 months. Okay, buying and holding makes you 51%. Even though you win 63% of the time when you enter, you still trading it only end up in a 4-hour algorithm that I believe is pretty damn good at getting you out. It's not perfect, but it makes you 37% over 19 positions over 24 months. The reason you get the 4-hour algorithm in something like VOO is just to find entries. And again, you had an entry here, January 15th at 544. You got all the way up to 561, an all-time high. You pulled back. You could have sold it up there if you wanted to. You could have tried to time it. Now, what are we looking at today? We're looking at a 1.5%. Again, it's going to hurt, but I've been saying it for a long time. You're at an all-time high. The catalyst is the tariffs, but it's not the reason we're going down. The reason is because of fear in the market, and the more likely reason is we're at all-time highs. And with tariffs, you're talking about inflation. Okay, so we're going to look at VOO. I'm going to talk about tariffs afterwards, but many analysts expect a correction. And if inflation comes back into this and the Fed has to actually raise rates again because inflation comes back into the market, remember Trump was talking about, we're going to get inflation down. Well, now he's talking about pain for the American people. So it's managing by chaos. He said he was going to do this. He now believes that Doge has cut enough money out of the thing that he has the ability to do this and go through some pain. And he's saying it's for the long-term good. Remains to be seen. I'm not a huge fan of this, but the reality is if you were trading just with the charts and you were trading on technicals, you probably would be out today. And you'd be out with a nice little gain. 544, it's trading at 544.96. It's continuing to go down. You will see at 9:30 when the market opens up. I'm recording this at 8:30. You will see we will continue to go down. There will not be a chance of a green day unless for some reason the tariffs come off the table, and they won't come off the table today. This is fear of being at an all-time high. So many experts think we could go down 10%. So what I did was I said, okay, if we're going to close, this is a weekly candle. I went to the weekly and I said, okay, if we're going to go down 10%, where would we get to? And so we closed on Friday at 553. Okay. 10% down puts us at around, let's see, that is 489.98. Notice anything kind of, hey, where is it? Well, here's week May 13th, the week of May 20th. The week of May 27th, and then finally the week of June 3rd. Okay, what happened June 3rd? Well, WWDC was right around the corner and Apple started moving. Okay, that started moving the market. So now you pull this one back. Those were all resistance weeks. Okay, then it turned into support here. July 29th, the low, 485. So it's right around that 490 mark. Then you have the August 5th Japan unwind trade that it was called. The low was 468. Okay. The high 491, right around there. Resistance. It seems to be this is where the market wants to go. So let's take a look at a daily because these lines come through on a daily here on Trendspider. Boy, look at that. May. Look at the dailies on this May, not only weekly. Then you get this August 5th. And then you get it pulling back up the next, next few days through that week. So if I were to have to take a guess, and again, that's the daily. If you look at the weekly, the MACD is still super high. The RSI at 60, we're coming off of 63. Back here in December, you're at 68. It wants to come under 50 on the weekly, and we could see a gradual reversion back to this line. Now, this isn't an expert opinion. I am no soothsayer. I am not Nostradamus. I'm just looking at this chart, and these are my opinions, okay? Anybody that gives you a chart analysis, it's an opinion. It's not a fact, because nobody knows where the market's going to go. Trump could come out tomorrow and say, you know what? We're not going to put these tariffs on. It was just a negotiation tactic. That would be good. Now, I've been saying before, there's two things you want to look at. The 10-year bond and the VIX. The VIX wants to be at 20. It was at 20 earlier this morning. We just look at the 1 day on this one. You can see it spiked up here to 20.4. Okay, it's on its way down. It will do some damage. It wants to live at 20. Okay, we can look at the 5 day. It wants to live at 20. I had said this wants to be at 20 before it goes to 10. And that was when it was at 15. So understand, I am not an expert in any field whatsoever. I'm just looking at historical patterns and understanding everything that's coming in. I have not personally made any huge moves in my own portfolio based on anything that we've been taught, that I've been talking about. There have been no huge moves, but if we get a 10% pullback, you better damn well believe I'm buying on the entire way down. Is there a potential of a 20% pullback? Absolutely. Okay, just some of the quotes from Seeking Alpha that I'll put in the newsletter today. We see immediate recessionary consequences for some of the economies involved and broad-based negative read across the world economy, according to Deutsche Bank. Okay, this is all related to tariffs. The budget lab at Yale University estimates Trump's tariffs would cost the average American household $1,000 to $1,200 in annual purchasing power. Greg Dacko, chief economist of the tax and consulting firm Ernst & Young. Remember Ernst & Young? Those are the guys that audit all these companies. They calculate the tariffs would increase inflation, which was running at 2.9. And Jerome Powell said, in order not to raise, we got to see inflation continue to come down. It's going to raise inflation by 0.4 percentage points this year. Dacko also projects the U.S. economy, which grew 2.8% last year, would fall by 1.5% this year and a 2.1% in 2026 as higher import costs dampen consumer spending and business investment. These are all getting you ready for the gradual fall. American farmers, which Trump last time promised to help, are likely to get caught in Trump's tariff tussle with Canada, China, and Mexico. President supporters in rural America make a tempting target for retaliatory tariffs. That is what happened in Trump's first term when other countries, notably China, slapped back against the president's tariffs with levies of their own on things like soybean and pork. In response, Trump spent billions of dollars in taxpayer money to compensate farmers for lost sales and lower prices. Many farmers are now counting on the president to come through and protect them from reprisals. The Trump administration provided a safety net, said former tobacco grower Lee Wicker, deputy director of North Carolina Growers Association, a collection of 700 farmers that lawfully brings in foreign temporary laborers to work the fields through a federal research visa program. They trust them, and they trust them that they're going to take care of them. Here's the thing. Trump is going to do what Trump is going to do, and it's going to stay. We are now in a tariff war. The last time this happened, the market didn't dip 10%. It dipped 20%, but it fully recovered. Okay? The difference between that time and this time, the Fed was near 0% rate increases. Okay, 0% for a federal rate. That was a low rate environment where growth could buffer the economy. What are we at now? We're at an economy where inflation could tick back up, where the Fed could rise again. Last week I said, hey, the Fed's out of the consideration. With the tariffs now, you are now putting back in, don't fight the Fed. If Jerome Powell sees inflation coming back in, he could raise rates. That would take the market down another 10% in March. So understand what you're dealing with tariffs. Trump imposed 25% tariffs on Mexican import goods, 10% on Chinese goods. And these are all going to, and Justin Trudeau retaliated, and the Mexicans are going to retaliate, and the Chinese are going to retaliate. It's going to raise prices all over the world. All over the world. Again, Canada announced tariffs on the U.S. Mexico eyes it. China responds. It's going to increase prices. So I say it again. I don't know that this is a negotiation tactic, but he's stubborn and he's going to do this, and it might take the market down. But realize where we are in the market. We were at all-time highs. The market doesn't go up forever. You take these opportunities and you buy them. Now, if you're afraid, if you're scared, what's the one thing that goes up when the economy goes into? It's gold. Okay, it's not Bitcoin. Bitcoin right now is way, way down. It's gold. You can trade these through ETFs. Find an ETF that does gold if you're worried about this lingering on. Okay? I'm not buying gold. I haven't been a big gold fan, to be honest with you. Silver is up. Precious metals. So, now, this is interesting. This was a weekly wrap-up of financials. I don't know if Seeking Alpha is doing this for every sector, but this particular thing was great. XLF finished the week up 1.2%. I did pick XLF as a big winner for 2025. I like it. So you can read this article. It just goes over all the financials from last week. I liked it. My favorite article from Seeking Alpha, it's the Catalyst Watch. Tariff drama, OPEC Plus, Alphabet, Amazon earnings. Remember, we got the Lennar spinoff. Everything that's going to happen. Tuesday, notable companies reporting. You can go to Earnings Hub and see it. Earnings Hub has it. Google, AMD, Chipotle, Snap, Enphase. Then you got Qualcomm, ARM. On Thursday, you got Amazon. We got a lot of earnings. Okay, later today, later in this episode, I'll go over Palantir and what's expected. You got NXPI. You got PayPal tomorrow morning. Spotify. You got Pfizer. You got Pepsi, which could come back. You know, hey, GLP-1s aren't being sold. So people are getting fat again. And they're getting fat on chips and drinks. Super Bowl's coming up. Marathon Petroleum, an interesting one. You know, with oil spiking with these tariffs, guess what? Oil companies are going up. MPLX alone, MPLX was up, let's see, it's down right now. But it was up like 2% earlier. So maybe something happened, I don't know. Earnings week ahead, Palantir, Amazon, Google, AMD, Lilly, Pepsi, Pfizer, Ford, Merck, PayPal, and more. This article gets you ready for everything. Goes over Palantir, it goes over Alphabet, goes over Ford, goes over Amazon, what they're expecting, what you can expect to see, all of that stuff if you want to play earnings. I really like these articles. Okay, this is why you have the bundle of Premium and Alpha Picks. Premium gets you all these articles. It also gets you the quant. It also gets you the ability to import your portfolio. It also gets you top stocks. It gets you so much, the virtual analyst reports. And if you just want Premium, you can get $30 off your membership. The bundle saves you $159 because it gets you Alpha Picks, which is a data-driven portfolio. You get one. We're going to get one today at midday. I'm going to have to buy a bunch of stock today. And you know what? Hopefully it's a stock that's down. They've picked it over the weekend. They know which stock it is. And you're going to see it pump because when everybody starts buying an Alpha Pick, it's going to pump. So find yourself a good entry. How do you find a good entry? Well, you use Trendspider. Okay, you use my 4-hour algorithm. When I get that pick, what am I going to do? I'm going to go to the 4-hour algorithm and I'm going to look. Ooh, where are the charts at? Do I have an entry? Just like when I look at VOO and I say, oh my God, where should I enter? And right now, I'm not buying VOO. The reason? Because it already has you in. And just knowing the calculation of the algorithm, it's going to get you out. I don't expect us to suddenly move up in the afternoon unless Jerome Powell comes out and says, you know what? We got to cut rates right now. That ain't going to happen. And again, look at the weekly, you look at the daily, and then you look at the 4-hour, And it looks like that one has some support right there. So you move back to May, and it does look like you have some support. I would be looking at 520 at a time to enter. Why? Look at this. July, the high, the previous high, to double top. Provided support here in October, provided support here in November. Okay, the 200-day is a good move as well if you want to start adding there at 539. Where are we trading right now? 544. You're not too far off. So that's why you have Trendspider, to be able to look at these charts the way I do. So again, anything that you want to buy, it is here on Linktree, linktr.ee/daily stock pick. If you're on a video platform, which is Spotify or YouTube, you can see it right down there. linktr.ee/daily stock pick. The first one's Trendspider. You can get my discount on that. Second one is the bundle. Okay? The third one is just Seeking Alpha Premium. Okay, that gets you just your research tools. But then the fourth one, if you don't even want to research and you just want alpha picks, which is an amazing portfolio that provides amazing returns against the S&P. That's what you get. So again, let's talk about DeepSeek, because DeepSeek was the main topic of conversation last week, and it will be continuing to be a main topic of conversation. In this article, Altman said the startup needs to figure out a different open source strategy during a Reddit Ask Me Anything session. DeepSeek released its lower cost model, and open source OpenAI is responding. Not everyone at OpenAI shares this view of rethinking their open source strategy. And it's not our current highest priority, said Altman. OpenAI, which originally started as an open source company with the mission of benefiting all humanity, has recently shifted to a closed source development approach. So remember, Sam Altman has taken this company, which was open source, and moved it to closed source. So they're trying to figure out their strategy now that DeepSeek is completely open. OpenAI Chief Product Officer Kevin Whale added that the company was considering open sourcing its older models, but it hadn't finalized any decisions yet. Altman called DeepSeek's model a very good model, stating that OpenAI will produce better models. However, it expects to maintain less of a lead than we did in previous years. That's key. That's key. Because the Chinese have caught up. Okay? Open source has caught up. Llama has caught up. And he's saying, hey, we may not have the ability to have, he's running a marathon. And as of, December, they were 10 miles ahead. As of last year, they were 10 miles ahead. Quickly, Llama has caught up. Quickly, DeepSeek has caught up. I listened to a podcast this weekend, and I want to just go over two things that I heard that concern me about DeepSeek and NVIDIA in particular. And NVIDIA is getting hit hard right now. Okay, because some of this news and the fact that Jensen met with Trump, and there's a couple of things. Okay, the first thing that I learned is that CUDA, the software that NVIDIA requires to run their chips, was not used in DeepSeek. They found a way around it. They created their own software. Okay, so they used the NVIDIA chips without using the CUDA software. That's like basically buying an iPhone, or an Android phone, like a Samsung phone, and being able to put the Apple operating system on there. So that scares me, because the not only could you just buy the chips, but you don't have the reoccurring revenue of the software. And so when I was thinking NVIDIA, I'm thinking, okay, they've got a software subscription that will push them out for years. That worries me. Okay. And again, this is just coming from an amateur investor who likes NVIDIA, but is a little bit worried. The second thing that I'm worried about is Singapore is responsible for 25% of NVIDIA's annual revenue. 25%. You want to know why Singapore is responsible for 25% of NVIDIA's revenue? It's worrisome. Well, you may say, Singapore, maybe they have a ton of data centers. They don't. They're not using a tremendous amount of electricity. These chips use a tremendous amount of electricity. The assumption is this is how China's getting those chips. They create a shell company in Singapore, import it, then export it to China. Okay? Those are two things that I learned this weekend that worry me about NVIDIA. Am I selling my stake? No. Am I going to wait for earnings that come up in later in February? Yes. That 140 price, if we get close to that, I'm looking at trimming my stake. And the reason is because I do think that the AI is no longer, NVIDIA, if in my mind, had a play for 2024 and 2025. You're a $3 trillion company. You can't go to a $6 trillion company. But you can go to a $4 trillion company if you continue to produce the chips, and they're sold out this year. So I don't think that you're coming back, but it's all priced into the stock. So if they come out and they say, you know what, we have a slowdown in orders, anything of that sort, and they will have to say it because they will have to project revenues. If they do anything, the market's going to be spooked. And those two things that I just went over means I'm less bullish, not for 2025, but for 2026. My average price, just be aware, my average purchase price is in the 30s. I am fine holding on. If your average purchase price is in the 130s, I would be a little bit concerned. Now, with all of that said, okay? With all of that said, notable analyst calls this week in NVIDIA. We can look at it. The research firm believes NVIDIA will slice into AMD's market. They took AMD down. That was one of the calls last week. And NVIDIA upgraded after DeepSeek routes wipe off millions. So NVIDIA by Tigris Financial from a buy to a strong buy. Okay? So the brokerage argued that NVIDIA continues to be a core holding in the powerful AI investing theme. The brokerage increases 12-month price target to $220. Okay? That's huge. That's huge. So understand, I am making this hypothesis for me, but my average purchase price is 30. 30. And if you want to just see the biggest bull on NVIDIA, it's freaking Zuckerberg. He is much smarter than anybody listening to this podcast. Okay, I will say that. The man is a founder. He's built the Facebook business, the Meta business. Okay, he is still running that business. He understands this. He's a coder at heart. Who do you think developed all of that llama stuff? It's him with his team. He is still coding on a daily basis. Okay, I still like NVIDIA. I am just trimming my exposure because going out to 2026 does worry me. The second these hyperscalers start pulling back, that's when NVIDIA will go back to a $3 trillion company. I do think that it gets to 3.5, almost 4 trillion, but I think it's going to pull back. And that's my fear because of those two things, software and China being limited on this and the U.S. continuing to want to pull it back. Now, the other thing that I heard about this weekend was the reason DeepSeek came out is because the U.S. was restricting. When you take, in founder models, founder companies, when you give them $200 million, they're going to overspend. If you give them $2 million, they will find a way. And so that's why DeepSeek came out. Now, if you're thinking that I was just talking about AMD, a good rule of thumb, just do some research. AMD, it's a good way to find if you're catching a knife or timing the bottom, the 821 EMAs. Okay? Add this EMA crossover color custom indicator to your toolbox. Look at that. Whether you're catching a falling knife, when the 8 and the 21 crossover, this gets you out. It looks like a pretty damn good indicator to tell you, hey, are you catching a falling knife or are you timing the bottom of a run? So far, it's worked out really well in that chart. Okay? Say you want to get into, The Taiwan Semi's not your gig, but you want to buy the equipment that Taiwan Semi buys to actually fund the fabs, the fabrication plants of all these chips. Well, ASML, Applied Material, KLA, and Lam Research, what's the differences? Quality Stocks went over it. Great newsletter. So not only should you subscribe to mine, Quality Stocks is actually a really good newsletter. I need to start recommending them. I need to write to them and say, I'm going to start recommending you guys. Again, Seeking Alpha, they're kind of, this particular author is promoting the Magnificent Seven. It's expected to peak. So maybe you want to, get out there. They're not all created equal. 4 of the 7 stocks are down from a month ago. And that's even before today. NVIDIA down almost 8.5%. Apple down almost 5%. Microsoft down 1.6%. Tesla down 1%. Meta's up 17%. Amazon up 7%. Alphabet up 6%. Not all of the Mag 7 are created equal. So what do you do when you read something like this? My suggestion, find a country you like, find an analyst that, go and do your research. And then, like this person, he noted that investors are all in on U.S. exceptionalism and missing secular bulls in cheap, unloved Japan and Europe stocks. So he pulls up this over-the-counter DJXSF, which is a Europe 600 banks ETF. You can find an ETF for Japan. Go and use Perplexity. Stanley Druckenmiller, he said it when he heard the Argentinian president speak at Davos last year. He didn't waste time. He used the George Soros method of just, hey, I'm going to buy it and then go do some research because I like this guy. And he went and used Perplexity. Go and use the tools that you have. Perplexity is an AI tool. Google and go to YouTube and figure out how to use it. It is a fantastic tool. But again, that's how I use Seeking Alpha Premium. That's how I use all of the tools that are available. And they're not all, Perplexity isn't paid. You can use it for free. Now, Bitcoin is under $100,000. Bitcoin is a risky asset. Ethereum is down 16%. Okay? Bitcoin is under 100,000. I am still convinced that Bitcoin gets over $150,000 this year. Okay? If you get Trendspider through my link, you get this Bitcoin and crypto list. We can look at it. The 4-hour algorithm makes you 50% over the last 5 months. Again, 50%. Buying and holding makes you 62%. The algorithm, okay, in Bitcoin had you out here January 31st at 102,000. Okay, remember this trades 24/7. Had you out. We're seeing clear resistance at that 110 level. Okay, we can look at a daily on this. Daily, still looking good. You're down below the 50-day. You're 9 and 21. Short term, it's going to hurt. Where are you coming to? You could come down to this 80,000. Because if you look at Bitcoin and look at the prices paid, and we just pull it to where it pulled over 100,000, let's pull it there. Okay? Let's pull it back here because we want to see buy and hold, folks. We're going to pull it back here to March 3rd, 2024, where it was trading at about 60,000. Boy, you've got a big gap here between 73,000 and you didn't have time in this area. See where that's the only area during a daily where it does, you don't have it. Your high value area, 87. Am I waiting for this to get back to 87? No. I'm going to start buying under 100,000. The reason, I think it has 150,000 in it this year. I am getting killed on my double leveraged ETF, CONL, and MSTX today. I am down thousands and thousands of dollars on those. I have to figure out if I'm going to keep them. I was trading them on the 4-hour algorithm. I trusted it, held it over the weekend, bit me in the ass. But how am I playing this long-term one? I am sitting here and I'm going to buy more IBIT. Okay, IBIT is the ETF that I want to buy. It's down 6%. What if this one pulled back 20%? Because again, if the market's going to pull back 10%, I believe Bitcoin will be much more volatile and may pull back 20%. It comes back to its 200-day on the 4-hour. Okay, is that crazy? We don't have a ton of moving averages here on the weekly because IBIT only came out a year ago. The 50-day is right down there. But if you come back 20% from where it closed last week, there's a gap right there between 44 and 46. That's where I'll absolutely load up. So for me, these are buying opportunities. Now let's talk about earnings because Palantir has, let me close this Bitcoin one. Palantir, their earnings tonight. Okay. Tonight, stockholders will be looking to see the growth and nobody is bringing the earnings down. I mean, you can read this article. It is a hold in the quant. The only thing against it is the valuation, but that is significantly stretched. Okay, they've done well on earnings before. You've seen it pop 10, 15, 20%. I'm not in this one. So simply because of the valuation scares the crap out of me. Even the forward peg. Remember, the peg is price to earnings and growth. And I think it's Peter Lynch and Warren Buffett that like to buy it under 2 or even under 1. This is at 7.71. The sector is at 1.82. This is a software company, okay? They have to show the growth. And so the growth needs to continue up. You have 24% revenue growth year over year. This is a company that's growing levered free cash flow at 73%. Their profitability, unbelievable. We can read the analyst right here. It was written on 129. Okay, the competitors, IBM, which just showed a great quarter. They popped 10%. Snowflake and Salesforce. Salesforce also great earnings, popped on them. Is rated to hold while the company demonstrates impressive growth and profitability. It faces challenges with its valuation. At some point, valuation matters. Now we can go over here and we can say, okay, what does Wall Street think that it's worth? Their average price target, $53. $53. That to me is a bit too much. And you can go over to FinViz. And remember, I used FinViz for years as a free tool. I didn't pay for Seeking Alpha. So it's not like you have to pay for Seeking Alpha. You can go down here and look. Webbush, they upped their price target on January 23rd to $90. Cantor Fitzgerald in January said it's worth $72. And still, the target price is $50.69. Okay? Now, Jim Cramer today at 8:06, he says it's going to $100. No matter what. Again, market forces, the market will pay what the market will pay. It's down 2.57%. We tried to use the Fibonacci's on this one. I'm not sure if I was actually successful in that one. But let me just pull a lot of this out. Let me see. Remove all 3-point Fibonacci's. We're going to remove all Fibonacci's there. And you can see 4-hour algorithm has you in at 70. You're at 82. Was it scary to get in here at 70? Absolutely. Was it scary to get in here at 50 on November? Absolutely. 49% run right there. Okay. 70, you got a nice little run going. Today, you're down 2% at $80. Is it stretched? Absolutely, it's stretched. Look at this weekly chart. Okay, your 200-day is at 21. Your 50-day is at 39. Your 21-day is at 62. Meteoric rise to all-time highs. And you're sitting up there, and 85 is a clear resistance level. But I agree with Jim Cramer. Okay, I do agree with Jim Cramer. That 84 right there, see it? See how it's sitting up there and providing some resistance? I think once you get over this, 100 is within the take. So, again, those are the earnings that I'm watching. We have a lot more earnings this week. You've got Google tomorrow after the bell. You got PayPal. You got Spotfiy before the bell. Pfizer, Ferrari, Pepsi, Merck, Estee Lauder. You got a lot. Marathon Petroleum. And then after the bell tomorrow, you got Google, AMD. You got Chipotle with their new CEO. You got Snap. You got Enphase. You got EA Sports, which pre-announced some stuff. Simon Property Group, which is in the core portfolio. You got Uber, Disney on Wednesday before the bell, Novo Nordisk. You can tell what Eli Lilly may be doing with Novo Nordisk. That's going to move in tandem probably. So a lot more earnings. Now, from Spotfiy, John, is the time for me to play SMCI. Also, thoughts on TLN. I put some into CEG, INTA, and Credo. Happy with the thumbs up. Let's go Big Blue. So SMC, I'm going to take your SMCI because the other one, TLN, that's one that I've mentioned before. It's kind of a YOLO one. What do I think of it? I like it. It's power. I mean, I've chosen that one as one of my picks for the year. Now, SMCI. We're going to take a look at SMCI. Here's what you have to know about SMCI. Their earnings are coming up. Let's see, February 14th. It's Valentine's Day. Are they going to be shown love? I don't know. They don't have an auditor. So is now a time to get into SMCI? Personally, no. I want to have an auditor. Okay? I want them to have an auditor. You can see on this weekly how I bought. I sold. Bunch up here. I bought more. Lost on that one. I'm out completely. I'm out completely because they don't have an auditor. So for me, John, if you want to get in, that's a you thing. For me, I'm not interested. I want to know that they have an auditor. I want to know that somebody's looking over the financials. That's it. So, and the other ones you mentioned, I think you go, TLN. TLN's a power company. And so, it's a strong buy in the quant. You can see the 4-hour algorithm doesn't really work on this. You got a gap up here to 242. I mean, today in pre-market, let's see, it's down at 212. It's an opportunity to get in. 195 is your 200-day. What happened the last time it dipped under the 200-day? Shot up. So MACD resetting. On a weekly, still stretched. We don't have any moving averages on a weekly, so your guess is as good as mine. But if you go over here and you look at Talon Energy and Seeking Alpha, and we look at this, it's a strong buy from Wall Street. There are 10 analysts that cover this. They think it's worth 267. The only thing that's bad about it is the valuation. They are not currently making money. Okay, their PE, their forward PE, they're expected to make money. It's a utility. Scans in the 4-hour algorithm. This is what I typically think that most people should tune into my newsletter for, but Tesla, 415. It's trading at 389. Is the algorithm perfect? No. Is this one stretched? Look at the weekly. Would I be buying this on the 4-hour algorithm? I would take a look at the entirety of this. Okay, we've got Tarriffs. You've got a weekly where the MACD is about to cross down. Where's the support on this one? For me, support is probably around that 372 level, and it's at 389. Am I adding back into this? I have this through XLY. That's the way I invested it. Now, Celestica, which is another big moving stock, 127.06. Where are you trading? 116. This one popped on Friday morning to 133. It has 133 in the stock. Is it incredibly expensive? I don't know. I mean, this is part AI. Strong buy in the quant. Profit valuation B. They're making money. Their PE's high, but their PEG ratio is low. That means growth. CLS, I think you buy the dip. Are you gonna make money in a week on this one? Maybe not. You may dip all the way back down to under 100. You very well may dip back under 100. Look at that shooting star, okay? Don't you wish you would have bought here at 45 in September? You've tripled your money. Don't you wish you would have bought here at 66? Again, you've doubled your money. That was in October. Don't you wish you bought here in January at 99? Now it's telling you 127. Where are you trading at? 115. So again, all of the scans will come out. We got a ton of them, including leveraged ETFs, both sides, long and short, so you can try and play this bounce down. I don't expect the market to recover in a large sense today. I expect us to continue down. Again, the title of this, the market's crashing again. Call your mom. That's the title. We got our 10 days of love. with the one stock per day. So make sure you tune in every day so you can hear which 10 stocks I pick out. It includes ETFs, but it's about building the portfolio that can put up with this type of pullback. And in the long term, it should provide you excellent returns. This is how I manage stuff, and that's all this podcast is. It's just how I manage my stuff. That's why I started the podcast. It's not to tell you which stock to invest in. It's not to give you financial advice. It's to tell you, hey, I did this throughout almost a 40-year investment career. Okay, almost 40 years. Started when I was 15 years old. And I was able to retire at the age of 49. And it's not through making a tremendous salary. It is simply making sure that your portfolio is set up for positive gains. So if you have any questions, hit me up. Everything's in the newsletter. So make sure you subscribe to the newsletter. Remember, Alpha Pick subscribers, we get a new Alpha Pick today. So let's hope it's a good one. Okay, take care. Bye. I ain't selling, Leslie. I got high six figures available in cash. So I mean, what do you think? Stocks won't go up forever. So, hey, Eli. Morning. Yeah, I started early. I started like 7 o'clock this morning, so I've been on for a while. I am actually going to get off here. I did AMD. I pulled, let me pull up the chart. It's going to be in the newsletter. I didn't go over the earnings for AMD, but what I did do was this one, open with Google Chrome, Eli. This particular chart, which has an EMA crossover coloring in Trendspider, Eli. It's on Trendspider's Twitter. It's a really good one. If the price is stuck below the daily 821 EMAs for weeks, this is a daily chart, you're catching a falling knife. And so this is an interesting one because what they did was the indicator, if the 8 and the 21, if the 8 crosses the 21 and stays below it, it's red. If the 8 crosses above the 21 and it stays above it, it's green. So this is, again, everybody wants to time this one. I don't think AMD is a good buy. I think they get killed. I think they're the new Intel. They've fallen behind. And right now, chips, I don't believe that chips will be, I think Meta's the winner here. I mean, it's clear as day. Meta at 674. Do I want to buy it? No. Should I buy it? Absolutely. I mean, should have bought it 615 here, January 17th. What do I think we're going to see? I think it's coming back to the 50-day at 623. Do I think I get it at, 623? I don't know. Maybe I'm a little scared because that weekly, I mean, it's just, you're at, let's see, RSI at 71 on the weekly. I don't think we're getting back to this 550. If we do, I'm buying hand over fist. These guys make a tremendous amount of cash. The only problem with Meta is how fast can Zuckerberg spend it? That's the only problem. But AMD, Eli, I'm just not interested. Yeah. Okay. But Eli, sorry to cut you short, but I'm going to get out of here because I'm going to try and get all of this done. If you want to replay the podcast, remember there's a Linktree has everything. You can sign up and follow me on Spotfiy. You can follow me anywhere. I've got the YouTube link. All the socials are up here. It even takes you to our private Facebook group if you want to do that. So I post in there all the time. And I am going to try and be here early. I ran 4 miles yesterday, so I'm starting to run again. I want to get in shape. Your boy got fat. Your boy got fat and happy. And yeah, my hair is white, but I got fat and happy. Okay, got a bread machine. I'm blaming it on that. Okay. I am out of here. You guys have a great rest of your day. I will see you tomorrow.
Every morning I wake up to the sound of the trading bell. My heart starts to pound. Daily stock pick trading podcast in my ears, guiding me through my hopes and fears. Tune in daily, don't miss a single show. Sign up for the newsletter, let us help you grow. Taking risks, making moves, seeking success. Together we'll conquer, no room for any less. Every morning I wake up to the sound of the trading bell. My heart starts to pound. Daily stock pick trading podcast in my ears, guiding me through my hopes and fears. Tune in daily, don't miss a single show. Sign up for the newsletter, let us help you grow. Taking risks, making moves, seeking success. Together we'll conquer, no room for any less. Listen now. Every morning I wake up to the sound of the trading bell. My heart starts to pound. Daily stock pick trading podcast in my ears, guiding me through my hopes and fears. Tune in daily, don't miss a single show. Sign up for the newsletter, let us help you grow. Taking risks, making moves, seeking success. Together we'll conquer, no room for any less. Every morning I wake up to the sound of the trading bell. My heart starts to pound. Daily stock pick trading podcast in my ears, guiding me through my hopes and fears. Tune in daily, don't miss a single show. Sign up for the newsletter, let us help you grow. Taking risks, making moves, seeking success. Together we'll conquer, no room for any less. Listen now. Every morning I wake up to the sound of the trading bell. My heart starts to pound. Daily stock pick trading podcast in my ears, guiding me through my hopes and fears. Tune in daily, don't miss a single show. Sign up for the newsletter, let us help you grow. Taking risks, making moves, seeking success. Together we'll conquer, no room for any less. Every morning I wake up to the sound of the trading bell. My heart starts to pound. Daily stock pick trading podcast in my ears, guiding me through my hopes and fears. Tune in daily, don't miss a single show. Sign up for the newsletter, let us help you grow. Taking risks, making moves, seeking success. Together we'll conquer, no room for any less. Listen now. Every morning I wake up to the sound of the trading bell. My heart starts to pound. Daily stock pick trading podcast in my ears, guiding me through my hopes and fears. Tune in daily, don't miss a single show. Sign up for the newsletter, let us help you grow. Taking risks, making moves, seeking success. Together we'll conquer, no room for any less. Every morning I wake up to the sound of the trading bell. My heart starts to pound. Daily stock pick trading podcast in my ears, guiding me through my hopes and fears. Tune in daily, don't miss a single show. Sign up for the newsletter, let us help you grow. Taking risks, making moves, seeking success. Together we'll conquer, no room for any less. Listen now. Every morning I wake up to the sound of the trading bell. My heart starts to pound. Daily stock pick trading podcast in my ears, guiding me through my hopes and fears. Tune in daily, don't miss a single show. Sign up for the newsletter, let us help you grow. Taking risks, making moves, seeking success. Together we'll conquer, no room for any less. Every morning I wake up to the sound of the trading bell. My heart starts to pound. Daily stock pick trading podcast in my ears, guiding me through my hopes and fears. Tune in daily, don't miss a single show. Sign up for the newsletter, let us help you grow. Taking risks, making moves, seeking success. Together we'll conquer, no room for any less. Listen now. Every morning I wake up to the sound of the trading bell. My heart starts to pound. Daily stock pick trading podcast in my ears, guiding me through my hopes and fears. and fears. Tune in daily, don't miss a single show. Sign up for the newsletter, let us help you grow. Taking risks, making moves, seeking success. Together we'll conquer, no room for any less. Listen now. Every morning I wake up to the sound of the trading bell. My heart starts to pound. Daily stock pick trading podcast in my ears, guiding me through my hopes and fears. Tune in daily, don't miss a single show. Sign up for the newsletter, let us help you grow. Taking risks, making moves, seeking success. Together we'll conquer, no room for any less. Every morning I wake up to the sound of the trading bell. My heart starts to pound. Daily stock pick trading podcast in my ears, guiding me through my hopes and fears. Tune in daily, don't miss a single show. Sign up for the newsletter, let us help you grow. Taking risks, making moves, seeking success. Together we'll conquer, no room for any less. Listen now. Every morning I wake up to the sound of the trading bell. My heart starts to pound. Daily stock pick trading podcast in my ears, guiding me through my hopes and fears. Tune in daily, don't miss a single show. Sign up for the newsletter, let us help you grow. Taking risks, making moves, seeking success. Together we'll conquer, no room for any less. Every morning I wake up to the sound of the trading bell. My heart starts to pound. Daily stock pick trading podcast in my ears, guiding me through my hopes and fears. Tune in daily, don't miss a single show. Sign up for the newsletter, let us help you grow. Taking risks, making moves, seeking success. Together we'll conquer, no room for any less. Listen now. Every morning I wake up to the sound of the trading bell. My heart starts to pound. Daily stock pick trading podcast in my ears, guiding me through my hopes and fears. Tune in daily, don't miss a single show. Sign up for the newsletter, let us help you grow. Taking risks, making moves, seeking success. Together we'll conquer, no room for any less. Every morning I wake up to the sound of the trading bell. My heart starts to pound. Daily stock pick trading podcast in my ears, guiding me through my hopes and fears. Tune in daily, don't miss a single show. Sign up for the newsletter, let us help you grow. Taking risks, making moves, seeking success. Together we'll conquer, no room for any less. Listen now. Every morning I wake up to the sound of the trading bell. My heart starts to pound. Daily stock pick trading podcast in my ears, guiding me through my hopes and fears. Tune in daily, don't miss a single show. Sign up for the newsletter, let us help you grow. Taking risks, making moves, seeking success. Together we'll conquer, no room for any less. Every morning I wake up to the sound of the trading bell. My heart starts to pound. Daily stock pick trading podcast in my ears, guiding me through my hopes and fears.